What's awesome about getting to do the instructions for today is I get to be the first one to officially congratulate you and passing the bar today. So congratulations. My first question for you, though, is which side of the Jimmy fence do you guys fall on? Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel? I don't know where you fall or not. I love them both. But what I like about Jimmy Fallon's monologue sometimes is he starts out with, what a great crowd. What a hot crowd. You did it. You made it. You're here. You're in the show. And I think that's so relevant to what's happening today. To you attorneys, you did it. You made it. You're here. You're in the show. So congratulations again. I'm going to give you a run through of the events today. The Supreme Court, along with the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals Judge Richard Federico, will preside over the ceremony today. Please rise when the bailiff gavels us into session. Chief Justice Marla Lukert will announce the purpose of the special session. Then she will introduce Carol Park, who will give the report of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners. She will call the roll of attorneys. When Carol calls your name, please rise and indicate that you are present. Let me repeat that. When Carol calls your name, please rise and indicate that you are present. All you admittees are going to be awesome attorneys. I know you are. But we have one special attorney here today, and that's Margaret Boggs. Okay, see, Margaret's probably been, if not in the front of the line her entire life. So she gets to be first today. So if Margaret gets this right, everybody's going to get this right. So no pressure, Margaret, at all. But you mind if we practice just a little bit? Okay, so Carol is going to say, Margaret Claire Boggs, and you? Perfect. Let's give it up for Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. After Carol reads the roll of attorneys, Chief Justice Lukert will introduce me, and I will give you the Kansas oath for new attorneys. When I do that, please stand, raise your right hand, and I will read the oath. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth? Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong oath. I will read the entire Kansas oath. It's on the back of your program. I will read the entire thing again. And so when I say, so help you God, all you do is say, I do. Think of this as your wedding day. All you got to do is show up and say, I do. All right. That's all you got to do. So as you're nervously waiting and I'm rendering and it goes on and on and on, you hear, and so help you God, say, I do. Again, please rise when I administer the oath. Don't repeat it, but please say I do or affirm at the end. Then remain standing as the Chief Justice tells you to be, and she will tell you when to be seated. The Chief Justice will introduce Justice K.J. Wall, to give his remarks. And then she will turn over the ceremony to the 10th Circuit Judge, Federico. He will give some remarks and then introduce his deputy, Heather Tildis, who will give you the federal oath. Now, please rise when Heather gives you the oath as well. Unlike the state oath, you are going to have to repeat this in sections with Heather. And so, again, spoiler alert, it's on the back of your program, but she will lead you and guide you, and you will repeat the oath after she does. The court's then going to step down from the bench and will personally congratulate each one of you. This is going to happen in a snake-like fashion, starting again with Margaret. And then everybody else. So we'll follow and start the reception line. So it's going to snake this way. So everybody, when the court gets set up and everybody's in their place, if you can all just kind of make your way that way, and we'll snake back the way through those doors. Housekeeping item. This is your special day. You've earned it. Your family has earned it. If your family and friends want to take pictures, please take as many as you want. But just be courteous to others so we can all get great pictures. Again, the line's going to snake this way and snake back through those doors. So the best location to get a picture is probably going to be on that side over there, looking back this way. Last thing and most important thing, please silence or power off all your cell phones. Please do that now. For the attorneys and the entire crowd, I know this is difficult because of pictures. That's fine. Use your camera. Just make sure it's silenced. But now a quick caution and an anecdote about cell phones. In appellate practice continuing education seminars, I often give advice because people want to know, do I tell jokes in the appellate argument or anything like that to lighten the mood or anything? My advice is probably not, unless it's really, really good. On the contrary, if a judge makes a joke, it's always funny, all right? Remember that too. Now, the corollary to cell phones. The last thing you want to do is your cell phone going off in court, or even today. It won't be funny, and it may very well be the most embarrassing part of your career, and you may even be reprimanded by the court. A lot of you are probably not United States court oral argument watchers, but in certain oral argument, there was an interruption of a familiar ringtone of a cell phone. You see, in the United States Supreme Court, there are no electronic devices, period. Absolutely none. So back to that familiar ringtone, it was former Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer's phone going off. And an embarrassed Justice Breyer quickly got down and turned his cell phone off. All the other judges laughed, and it was funny and even broke smiles. Again, moral of the story, it's funny when it happens to a judge. It's not going to be funny when it happens to you. Also, a quick reminder, pictures, we've got Supreme Court photographers taking tons of pictures today. They are going to be on our Flickr page on the Kansas Supreme Court website. So get in front of their camera today, get your family in front of that camera today, get them to get a good picture of you so we can get it on there, and then you'll be able to see it on the Flickr page. We are very lucky to have some special guests here today who would like to welcome you as the bar as well. I'm not going to introduce them individually because they are listed in your program. But we are going to start with Amy Elliott from the Kansas Lawyers Assistance Program, and then the rest of them will follow in turn.
Good morning.
Morning.
On behalf of the board and Kansas Lawyers Assistance Program, congratulations. It's our honor to welcome you to the practice and to celebrate you as our newest members, our newest Kansas attorneys. And I'm just thrilled to be here to get to share this very special day with you. We recognize the tremendous work and steadfast commitment that you put in to get here. And here you are, you're in the show. Like Mr. Sheeman said, you've reached the goal, and paradoxically, the work is just about to begin. Do y'all know what you've really signed up for? Dr. Martin Luther King said that life's most persistent, most urgent question is, what are you doing to serve others? Practice of law is just that. It's a profession of sacred service. Many of you will have the opportunity to lift others up, to walk beside them through some of their darkest times. Many of you will have the opportunity to bear witness to some of your clients' greatest successes. All of you will have the opportunity, you'll be called upon to carry the burdens for your clients, whether they're individuals or organizations, and be called upon to carry those burdens across the chasms of some of their greatest challenges. You're going to hear secrets from people that their own families don't know, their own spouses. And you're going to have the opportunity to keep confidences of things that you can't even imagine right now. What I'm saying is the practice of law is a noble profession, and it's also a taxing profession. I'm not going to stand here and bore you with statistics. For one, nobody wants to hear statistics today. And secondly, you've already heard them. But hear this. The statistics you've heard about attorneys and depression, anxiety, burnout, substance abuse, all kinds of addictions, they're real. And the thing that all those things have in common is they almost always happen to people who think it could never happen to me. If you don't remember anything else I say this morning, remember this. Just remember KLAP, Kansas Lawyers Assistance Program. KLAP, we're here to be a resource if you ever find yourself as one of the 1 in 3 who will struggle at some point. I'm sorry, that sounded like a statistic, didn't it? KLAP can provide all kinds of services depending on the need: mentoring, support, intervention, education, or even just guidance. KLAP services are always confidential and always free of charge. Second thing I want you to remember is what they tell you when you take an airplane ride. You've got to put on your own oxygen mask before you can assist others with theirs. We have responsibilities to our clients, sure, but that starts with the responsibility we have to ourselves. Tend to our own well-being. When that suffers, it's just a domino effect. KLAP, we recognize that it's our responsibility, the responsibility of the legal profession, to take care of our own when we're struggling. As you begin this next chapter, the practice of law, your practice of law, please remember that KLAP is here to serve you so that you can continue to serve others. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Now, since that is done, let's give a real round of applause to these folks who are about to take this oath. Give it up to them right now. Come on, you can do better than that. There you go. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's good. So I'm Mark Dupree. I am the president of the Kansas Bar Association, and it is indeed my honor and privilege to speak to you this morning. I too sat in your seat. We will not talk about how many decades ago, but it was difficult and it was hard to get there. Some of you, it may have been very easy. I did not have such a road, but I made it, and I fought and I pushed and I studied just like you all did. And then I got involved. As the president of the Kansas Bar Association, the organization that was founded in 1882, it was an organization that was created to make sure that you and I and those who dare to take on the task of this profession have a support group, have a community that you can lean on. Because I know it's been said by some, but the reality is that this is the best profession known to mankind. I'll wait for the applause. And with that, everyone doesn't understand the many things that we do. And so as I congratulate you on coming into this new stage and into this new phase of your life, and I encourage you that when this is done to stop by the KBA table, and we have wonderful new little wallets. They got card. Well, I got one. I didn't know we had. We got all kinds of stuff down there. But what I want you to really grasp is the reality that in this profession, as stated, you will have some tough times. You will have some difficult times, but you will have some joyful times. You will have some amazing times, because the American Bar Association says that lawyers are to administer justice. And I am a little biased. I'm a prosecutor. And the same rule says that we are ministers of justice. One writer says that you as lawyers should see yourself as healers. Whether you're in criminal law or you're going into civil law or you're going to find yourself on the prestigious bench, your job is a healer. And to bring healing to this community, healing to this nation, healing to individuals who need your help and your expertise. And so as you do this, don't take it lightly, and families continue to encourage, but know that this step that you're taking is a calling, and it is a purpose that someone who's waiting on you to step over into this bar, they're waiting for you to help them. So today, I want to say congratulations. Today, I want to say be encouraged. Today, I want to say remember, as already stated, this thing that you're doing is not about you, but it is about helping others. And the Kansas Bar Association, who has done this thing for many years before you got here, and we have made plenty of mistakes, and now it is your time to join the KBA family so that you can learn from our mistakes so that you won't have to repeat them. Congratulations to you, congratulations to your family, and in a few more minutes, welcome to my family. Be blessed.
In the legal community, having to follow Mark Dupree is considered hazing. Hi, everybody. My name is Benjamin Cohen. I am the president-elect of the KBA's Young Lawyers section, and it is an absolute honor to get to address everyone here today, everyone who is celebrating this incredible achievement, and everyone who is in turn celebrating them. There really is nothing like finding yourself over the finish line, is there? You put 3 years into law school, months at least more into prepping for the biggest and most unforgiving exam of your life, and then you're here. When I was getting ready for the bar exam myself, a few more years ago than I would like to admit, classmates gave me a really wonderful metaphor. Finishing law school was like winning a pie eating contest, according to him, where the prize, getting to practice for the bar exam, was a lifetime supply of more pie. Well, you've won, you've gotten your prize, you might have even gone through it already. If you have, I'm really not here to judge. We may be in a courtroom, but that's not my job. There are a bunch of people coming in later who are much more qualified to do that. Either way, you've made it. Whatever brought you to law school in the first place and into this profession, you have the opportunity to make it into a reality. Maybe you've known what you wanted to do for years and years, or maybe you figured out some new interest during your time in school. Either way, you're jumping into that. You might be helping people navigate the complex and often deeply esoteric halls of the legal world. You might be flexing your skill at a large, high-paying law firm. Maybe you found a way to do both. If that's the case, don't brag too hard, but there are a lot of people who are going to want to know your secrets. Either way, you're about to take the most important oath of your life. You're going to receive a license that's going to give you opportunities to do things for the community that nobody else has the opportunity or the ability to do. I don't say that to brag. I say that because it is something that you have earned. To go back to a very clumsy metaphor, you are not going to be handed any more free pie. You get to be your own baker. But importantly, you're not going to be alone in that kitchen. Now, you might be picking out your own flavors for a few years. You might not. You might be using whatever you have on hand. You might have somebody telling you what to do. But before it gets too far away from me, just know this. Whatever kitchen you find yourself in, you're not going to be there alone. I discovered the Young Lawyers section a few years into practice, but more importantly, in the middle of a lovely little time we all call the COVID pandemic. It was a hard time for anyone to find connection, to find support, and I very much stumbled into it. No one here has to. In fact, I really hope you don't. I'm not trying to be self-serving when I say that we are here to provide you a network of people that are in your position, that are new to the legal field, that are, even after a few years, still getting their feet under them. There's no shame in that. It's frankly normal. There are people that have probably been in it 3 times as long as I am, who will tell you that they are still occasionally wrestling with that. But we're going to be there with you. Your first year of practice, you actually don't need to pay dues to be part of the KBA, and I really, truly hope you take advantage of that. Come find us, see what you need, and see how you can be provided support. This time in the YLS has provided me with connections to some of the brightest and most inspiring young colleagues I could ask for. That I could ask for, and I hope it does the same for you. So whatever you do after today, when that last little bit of celebration passes, when you need to actually get out and be, God help us all, an actual grown-up attorney, just remember, you are capable. You're not alone. You've earned this. Every bit of pride today is something that you deserve. Congratulations.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Trey Duran, and I am a staff attorney with the Topeka office of Kansas Legal Services, the largest statewide legal aid society helping folks in the state of Kansas. On behalf of Kansas Legal Services, I congratulate all of those gathered here today who will soon receive their license to practice law in Kansas. In particular, I want to especially congratulate Rachel Henderson, who will be joining us at the Topeka office of Kansas Legal Services as a staff attorney. Your time studying and stressing throughout law school and preparing for the bar exam have paid off and led you to this day of achievement and celebration. Only 3 years ago, I was sitting where you are now, waiting to swear my oath to the justices of the Kansas Supreme Court. As lawyers who will soon receive your licenses to practice law in Kansas, you have a tremendous opportunity to change lives and advocate for some of your most vulnerable and disadvantaged neighbors and community members. The shortage of Kansas attorneys especially in rural communities, has allowed Kansas attorneys to raise the market rate of the cost that they charge to their clients. Today, very many Kansans cannot afford to hire and pay for an attorney to give them legal advice and help prepare and explain court paperwork. When an attorney chooses to help someone without charging a fee, that's what we call pro bono service. Your most vulnerable neighbors and community members need the help of a Kansas attorney. If you take a pro bono case for full representation through Kansas Legal Services, our organization can provide you guidance and can even cover your malpractice insurance. If you cannot take a pro bono case for full representation due to the demands of your caseload, there are other ways that you can help. For example, Kansas Legal Services regularly invites attorneys to volunteer and give pro bono legal assistance at local court self-help centers and at clinics for driver's license reinstatements and criminal record expungements. By spending a few hours out of a single day at a driver's license reinstatement clinic, you could help a single mother restore her driving privileges so that she can find a better job to provide for herself and for her children. This could include finding enough money to provide adequate food, shelter, and clothing. At an expungement clinic, you could help a disabled veteran who made mistakes in the past move past that and qualify for a new apartment where the landlord actually makes repairs and accommodates the needs of their disability. Again, on behalf of Kansas Legal Services and all those who work with that organization, I express my excitement and recognition of your success today. And fellow counselors, I welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Kansas.
Let's give one more round of applause for all our speakers today. Court will be in session at straight up at 10 o'clock. Again, please rise when the bailiff gavels us in. You're free to talk until then.
the Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court and the Honorable Judge of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons having business before the court are admonished to draw nigh and give their attention to the court now sitting.
Please be seated. Good morning and welcome to the Kansas Supreme Court, both to those of you who are in the courtroom today and those of you who may be watching us through our live stream. We welcome all of you and are so pleased to have so many happy faces in front of us today. So we set today at both the Kansas Supreme Court and the United States Federal Court in special session today for the purpose of receiving the report of the Board of Law Examiners and to swear in our newest attorneys. For all of those who have qualified for admission by passing the February 2025 bar exam. That's an applause. Today is a day where we celebrate. And I'm very honored to be able to share this wonderful day with you and to personally congratulate you on what you have accomplished as you become a member of the Kansas Bar. You and all of those who have been a part of your support network have much to be proud of today. You have really accomplished a great deal. You also have a right to be proud of the role you assume today. That role is aptly expressed in the words of the opening preamble to the Kansas Code of Professional Responsibility. It begins, a lawyer, as a member of the legal profession, is a representative of clients, an officer of the legal system, and a public citizen having special responsibility for the quality of justice. Well, I encourage you to reflect on those words today and those responsibilities that you are assuming. As I said before, today is mostly a day of celebration. So celebrating with you today are my colleagues who I would like to introduce to you at this time. On my immediate right is Justice Eric Rosen, who's a native of Topeka. You can hold your applause.
No, that was fine.
Yeah. Nobody else gets it, right? No, yeah, anyway. Skipping over, but Justice Dan Bile is a native of El Dorado. And then back to this side, we're doing this in the way we sit on the bench. Justice Caleb Stiegel, who is a native of Lawrence. And then Justice KJ Wall is a native of the Scott City area. And on the far end, on this side, Justice Melissa Standridge, who also grew up in the Lawrence area. Our seventh justice, Justice Evelyn Wilson, is not able to join us today. But we do have a special guest with us today from the federal court, Judge Rich Federico, the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. We're very pleased to have him with us today. All of us are excited to welcome you and to enjoy this moment with you as you take your oaths to one or both courts. And so let's get on with that. So I would like to introduce at this time Carol Park, an attorney in private practice in Hayes. Since 2014, Ms. Park has served on the Board of Law Examiners and is the current chair of that board. As you may know, the board reviews all of your law applications as well as the issues of character and fitness before qualifying you to set for the bar, and then they administer and grade the bar exam. Our law examiners are all practicing attorneys, either in private practice or some other role in the legal sector, or they are judges. They give their time, sometimes at great personal and financial sacrifice, in order to provide this service to you and to the bar. We very much appreciate all that they do.
So Ms. Park, would you please come forward? And would you please provide the report of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners?
Thank you. Honorable Justices of the Kansas Supreme Court and Judge Federico, ladies and gentlemen, joining me this morning is Ann Emmert, also a member of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners. And the Board of Law Examiners respectfully reports the individuals whose names I will read submitted their applications for admission to the Kansas Bar. We made a careful inquiry and examination relative to their moral character, general learning, and other qualifications to take the Kansas Bar examination. On Tuesday, February 25th and Wednesday, February 26th, these applicants came before us and were examined pursuant to the rules of the court. Based upon that examination, we find that they do possess the requisite learning in the law for admission to the bar, and we therefore recommend the granting of the petitions for admission to the Kansas Bar of the following named individuals. Please stand and signify your presence when I call your name. Margaret Claire Boggs. Kaylee Brooke Brand.
Present.
Audra Beth Clark. Chantel Renee Duncan.
Present.
Zachary Robert Green. Rachel Henderson.
Present.
William Pierce Honnold.
Present.
Madison Lynn Ilsman. Excuse me. Michaela Curls.
Present.
Grayson Catherine Martin. Hunter Rose Masseter Negron. Robert James Newman. Michael James Owen. Anne Marie Lampy Ramirez. Hunter Thomas Roberts. Excuse me. Sarah Elizabeth Shankle. Lauren Crane Taylor. Lindsay Catherine Vanleberg. Sandra Velasquez. Riley Kristen Wiesman. On behalf of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners, I, Chairman Carol Park, respectfully move for the admission of these individuals as members of the Bar of the State of Kansas.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. Having now received the favorable report of the Kansas Board of Law Examiners, the candidates will now be admitted to the practice of law in the state of Kansas. Another applause point. I will now ask Mr. Doug Shima, the clerk of the Kansas Appellate Courts, to please come forward to administer the oath.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Please stand, raise your right hand. Do not repeat the oath, but say "I do" at the end. You do solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and bear true allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, that you will neither delay nor deny the rights of any person through malice, for lucre, or from any unworthy desire, and that you will not knowingly foster or promote or give your assent to any fraudulent, groundless, or unjust suit, that you will neither do nor consent to the doing of any falsehood in court, and that you will discharge your duties as an attorney and counselor of the Supreme Court and all other courts of the state of Kansas with fidelity both to the court and to your cause and to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God. Your Honor, I present the court the newly admitted attorneys in Kansas.
Congratulations. New admittees, would you please turn around? Like to, well, you stay looking that way for a moment. We will, to all of those in the audience, I do want to introduce this new group of attorneys to you. And take time, find those special guests that are out there and look at their smiling faces. Really take in the pride you're seeing there. Remember how much they have done to assist and support you. And now, new attorneys, it's appropriate for you to say thank you to them for all those good people who have helped you to make this day possible. So please join me in applause to those people. You may now be seated. It's a longstanding tradition of our court to have one of our members make a short speech. We lovingly call the graduation speech. Today, we're honored to invite Justice KJ Wall to present that address on behalf of all of us. Justice Wall.
Thank you, Chief Justice, and good morning and welcome to the Kansas Bar, everybody. Today is really an exciting day for all of you and your families and friends that have joined you in the celebration. Having demonstrated already that this is a very exuberant audience, I hesitate to bring in any cloudy skies or gray notes, but I do think that I wanted to start with a sobering reality, because as you're now officially a member of our legal community, you're stepping in at a pretty unique time, one in which the public's trust in our institutions has reached alarmingly low levels. And I'll give you some data to illustrate that. Pew Research, in their most recent study, found that trust in the federal government stands at just 22%. And our legal institutions have not been immune from this trend. The Annenberg Public Policy Center reports that trust in the judicial branch or the legal system has declined. What once was at a 75% approval rating has now dropped to just under 50%. Some of the largest points being dropped in the last 4 years alone. Unfortunately, the public's perception of lawyers doesn't fare a lot better. Gallup's polling in 2023 reflects that only 25% of Americans have a favorable view of the legal profession. And of course, that perception doesn't match the reality, and I think we all know that. But it's a serious problem, because without trust in the rule of law and the institutions that are designed to uphold it, the very social contract starts to fray. And if the public can't trust that they'll get just results from the legal process, they'll begin to turn to other less constructive ways to settle their disputes and grievances. So I think the point is that as you're entering the profession, it's more important than ever to know that justice doesn't require just favorable or fair results, but also the public's confidence that they can access our system and secure a fair and just result and outcome. I guess the second observation that I'll leave with you is that trend that I just discussed, and I promise I'll try to move to brighter skies in my presentation. I find it really surprising given the historical relevance and significance of the community that you have just joined by taking that oath. Since the inception of our very country, lawyers have played a pivotal role in our constitutional democracy. We had 32 of the 55 delegates at the Constitutional Convention were attorneys. And if you look at the history of Kansas law, the profession you are now walking into, it's the same, if not more vivid. We had 17 of our delegates at the Wyandotte Constitutional Convention in 1859 that were lawyers that were pivotal to the framework of the Constitution. Now, of course, at that time, those delegates did not include women, but female attorneys, women attorneys in our state were at the convention, and they had lobbied hard and successfully secured rights that were unprecedented at the time into the state constitution. And women attorneys didn't stop there, where they continued to advocate for suffrage. And in 1912, successfully added that to our state constitution, right? 8 years before the 19th Amendment became the law of our state. Moving forward, during the civil rights era, you see the same presence of our community. Several of the plaintiffs in Brown versus the Board of Education were represented by Kansas lawyers. And long before then, Kansas lawyers at the state level and utilizing the state court systems challenged municipal ordinances and practices that segregated privileges and benefits offered to the public, right? Swimming pool access or segregation policies, school access, et cetera. Years before Brown versus the Board of Education, Kansas lawyers successfully obtained injunctions against those practices. And even our court in 1940 affirmed those rulings in a decision, I can't remember the name, it's against the city of Newton in 1940, right? Kern v. the city of Newton. Anybody that wants to cite check me there. But the significance of joining this community today is beyond the historical, right? If you look around, you yourself and those that are sitting next to you are going to shape the future of this profession and what it looks like moving forward. You have an important role in that process. And I know that's true because I stand here with the benefit of hindsight. And I can look down the bench at Judge Federico and recall that 26 years ago, he and I were starting out together as one else at KU Law, right? And our classmates and himself went on to do a lot of things to shape the profession as it stands today. And everybody has an important role in that process. And our classmates and ourselves took different paths, but we all started where you stand today, where you took that oath, right? It all started right there. And it just goes to show, I think, that each of you will have that power to shape and influence what our profession looks like. And I think it's important when you do that to remember that those outside the profession, they form their perceptions about our institution based on their interactions with you, right? They don't know the reality or they only understand the legal institution conceptually, very vaguely, but it becomes real when they have an interaction with you or another attorney, right? So that's the power that you hold. And I guess my final observation will be the words that you just took in the oath, right? The oath set out in Rule 726 of our Supreme Court rules. And you just took that oath. And it sounds very ceremonial. And it is, because you're at a transition now. But they're also a commitment. And let me just walk through a couple of those commitments that you just made. One is to swear and support and bear true allegiance to the Constitution, right? Not a political party, not an ideology, not even a particular constituency, but a constitutional set of standards that transcends all of those interests. And I think at a time when polarization threatens our civic discourse, that commitment is more important now than ever. You also promised that you wouldn't delay or deny the rights of any person through malice, lucre, or unworthy desire, and that you would pledge to never assert a fraudulent, groundless, or unjust suit. That's a reminder that, right, you're in an adversarial system, no doubt, but when you're operating in that system, integrity is not negotiable. That's essentially your commitment. And that pledge really confronts one of the most persistent criticisms of our profession. It's this belief that I think is really unfounded, that a lawyer will say or do anything so long as they're paid to do it, right? And even more recently, that our system can be used as a weapon rather than a tool to rectify injustice. I think we know, and you know, having taken that oath and understanding this community, that's not the case. but it's important that through your actions that the public knows that and experiences that firsthand. So when you took that oath, and I believe you'll take the federal oath, or some of you will here in a few moments, it is truly a crossing of a threshold. It's a culmination and a new beginning, right? It's the closing chapters of what I'm sure feels like decades, but was certainly years of education and preparation to step into this profession. And then also the start of your professional journey and membership into this historic legal community. And as you embark on that career, I really hope that you are mindful that those interactions moving forward, whether you're in a courtroom, a boardroom, a public meeting, or even, especially for those that may be practicing in smaller communities, out at dinner or getting donuts and coffee in the morning, you know, you are your conduct and your interactions are the embodiment of our legal institution. And that conduct and character will decide whether public faith in our institutions rises or falls in the years to come. And I can tell from your faces and the family members and friends behind you that you'll seize that opportunity and you'll continue to make those contributions to our community that's going to resonate for generations to come on many multiple families that you interact with in your representation of those clients. And for that reason, I'm excited to be one of the first to welcome you to the Kansas Bar, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Justice Wall. As we've mentioned a few times, we also give you the opportunity today for those who wish to become a member of the federal bar to take the oath there. We're very fortunate to be in a state where our state and federal courts work together on many things, including public service projects and public education about the court system and other meaningful projects that transcend really our work within the courts. Many other states don't have joint ceremonies. You have to find your own way to navigate getting sworn into both bars and do that type of thing. But our state and the judges work together to give you this opportunities, and we're very pleased to be able to do it. And it also gives us a chance to share the bench with our federal colleagues as we do so. And so for the first time today, because he's fairly recently become a member of the federal bench, we are very happy to be able to welcome Judge Rich Federico to join us today. And I'm going to now turn our proceedings over to him.
Thank you, Madam Chief Justice. Let me first say what a pleasure and honor it is to sit with the Kansas Supreme Court. So I appreciate and thank you all for the invitation, the opportunity to be here and part of this ceremony. And what a great ceremony it is. I was mentioning to the Chief Justice, I didn't get the opportunity to do what you're all doing this morning. When I first joined the bar, I took the oath very unceremoniously in the office of my executive officer at Officer Indoctrination School at Naval Station, Newport, Rhode Island. I took the oath and then they said, get back to work, Ensign Federico. So I'm so thrilled to see what this ceremony brings, the joy it brings to you and your families. So let me be the next to say congratulations to each of you. It takes a lot of hard work and determination and grit to get to this point. And I wish I could tell you the hard work is over, but you know better than that. This is a tremendously rewarding profession. It is a privilege to be a member of the bar and to practice law, but it's going to challenge you in all the ways. And we need your talent, we need your integrity, and we need your dedication as lawyers in Kansas to go forth and, just as Justice Wall was saying, to carry on the traditions of those who have come before you in the ethical practice of law. I want to underscore a couple points I am sure that you just heard from Justice Wall and some from the other speakers this morning. that occur to me if you're starting new in this profession. And some of you may already have licenses in other jurisdictions. And if so, welcome to Kansas. But we live in a really rapidly evolving world. And the tools that are available to you as practicing lawyers today are not tools that were available to many of us when we started the practice of law. So as things change and change rapidly, what I submit is not going to change are the ethical values that really underpin and are the foundation of this profession. And it will be a challenge for you as you engage with your clients, with each other, and opposing counsel to figure out how to utilize these tools while not in any way changing, again, the foundation of the ethical practice that is your obligation now as lawyers in the state of Kansas. And then secondly, I think it's important for you to consider and to recognize that as members of the bar, that you are a leader in your respective community. That comes with the license, whether you want to be or whether you like it or not. You will be a leader with your individual clients. You will be a leader with colleagues and within your respective communities. So I would encourage you to think about what kind of leader you want to be and how it is that you can use this license that you have now earned to practice law to make your families, yourself, your communities better as a leader, because that is part of the job. What I'm really here to do is to welcome and swear those of you who are joining the federal bar. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about our federal court here in the District of Kansas. On behalf of Chief Judge Eric Melgren, who sits in Wichita, Kansas, and his colleagues in the District Court, the magistrate judges of the United States District Court for the District of Kansas, we welcome you to the federal bar. And I hope this is one step in the federal bar before you go on. And we would love to welcome you to join our court at the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. Our circuit spans 6 states and a little sliver of Yellowstone National Park. We have 8 federal districts, and our courthouse is primarily in Denver. However, we get out into the circuit, and 2 weeks ago, we had a sitting here in Topeka at Washburn School of Law and also at the University of Kansas. So you will see us out in the circuit. And for those of you interested in appellate practice, I would love to see you and welcome you to stand before us and present argument in Denver at the Byron White Courthouse. In a moment, I'm going to ask Heather Tildes, a dedicated public servant of the federal judiciary for over 10 years, my colleague and friend with me in the 10th Circuit, to come forward and administer the oath. And once you complete that oath, you will then become a member of the federal bar here in the District of Kansas. So Ms. Tildes, if you would please come forward. For those of you who will be taking this oath, if you would please stand.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will do no falsehood, nor consent to the doing of any in court, that I will not wittingly or willfully promote or sue any false, groundless, or unlawful suit, nor give aid or consent to do the same, that I will delay no person for lucre or malice, but I will conduct myself in the office of an attorney within the courts according to the best of my knowledge and discretion, and with good fidelity, as well as to the court, as to my clients, so help me God. Congratulations.
Please all be seated. Well, those of you who are now sworn in as members to the United States District Court of the District of Kansas, I say congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in federal court. And with that, Madam Chief Justice, I hand the gavel back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Tildes, for your assistance with this as well. So again, members of the bar, we welcome you. It's been a great privilege to share this ceremony with you today. Today is just the first time you will take the oath. Kind of sadly, I think, we don't do a ceremony every year when you sign the oath. It is a little bit more of that just routine. But I really encourage you to not let it become just that routine. When you renew your license each year, take a few moments, really read the oath, don't just sign it. And I really invite you and urge you to pull out the preamble to the Code of Professional Conduct, at least that part, and read it. And remember that as a resource at times when you have that kind of a day where you just need that kick of inspiration. Because reading through those words and thinking about the lofty principles that are contained in that preamble really help reinvigorate the ideals that brought you to this day. And I hope that you have many, many decades of times when you renew that thought process as you renew your license and take the oath for yet another year. So today, reflect on your success. This is a realization of one of your dreams, a dream you've undoubtedly worked very hard to achieve. So celebrate, and to begin that celebration with you, we will note that we appreciate the assistance of the Kansas Bar Association, who are represented here and also downstairs, who are helping host the reception for you there. And one final thing before we adjourn, we will follow our tradition of the court to step down off the bench and greet each of you individually as we welcome you to the bar. So thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all of you. It's an achievement for everyone in this room, and especially to those of you who are new attorneys. We wish you the best. Thank you. Court is now adjourned. Downstairs to the reception.